pressure on their shoulders to chase is going to save the energy of these riders who, a few days ago, we were worried about doing too much in the quest for the yellow jersey with Pogačar.
Just a word of appreciation for this young man, Frank van den Broek, the Dutchman. You remember stage one?
Unbelievable.
It's hard to think back that far with all the excitement all the excitement we've had. But Frank van den Broek, the engine of the Romain Bardet victory on stage one of this race. How good to see him still in the frame of mind and still with the physical capacity to get himself into this break, be one of the drivers of it. Fantastic ride by the young Dutchman. Well, that says it all, doesn't it? I guess the red cross on the back of the car. If you think to the abandonment of Primož Roglič after yet another crash.
Well, with the way it's gone, we really haven't had too much time to talk about the riders who didn't start. Jesus Herrada was one of the two non-starters. But of course, the headline was poor old Primož Roglič. And a Rogless race is a race that's poorer, isn't it? Because he's one of the characters. He's one of the fighters and battlers and warriors. He's extremely popular. The story has. I know some people get fed up that we repeat it, so I won't go there, but we know where he came from. He's a unique rider, and the big four became the Three Musketeers today. Interesting to see how it goes going into the mountains, but this situation on the road could change how the mountains are approached when we get there tomorrow.
Oh, with Adam Yates putting himself into the break. My other question, and what I'm curious to see, and it depends on how this chase evolves. Now it's gone back out to over a minute, but if it starts getting closer again, or there's just too much time pressure on the break that's formed out the front, when the pressure is applied by other riders in the break to Adam Yates to leave them and go back so they can clear out and contest the stage amongst themselves. Because it wasn't for Adam Yates, they would be 5-6 minutes up the road already.
Now let's go to the radio here. 3.5 hours. Sounds like nothing, eh, when you say it like that?
Well, if it's going to take them 3.5 hours, I reckon they'll be 10 minutes behind the bunch based on that estimate, because I think it's going to be even faster.
Yeah, it's absolutely rapido, isn't it, already? The average 49.3 kilometers an hour so far. They're looking, of course, for Sam Bennett for today's stage, who, yeah, has got a chance. Hasn't been as good as he's been previously, of course, but will still be so motivated for a stage victory, with only 2 left to come, arguably, for the sprinters in today and stage 16.
I never noticed that my heart rate monitor has a little light on it that blinks.
We started to see a few different teams on the front. Geraint Thomas was riding there at the front for Ineos Grenadiers. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Adam Yates naturally is going to continue to contribute to this group that's leading right now. This is Axel Laurence, the under-23 world champion, and now the senior world champion, Mathieu van der Poel. Still only ever won just the one Tour de France stage. Of course, he's got a million other achievements that we could gloss over and talk about all day. Paul Palmer had to be in the break. They've got to be in every break now, haven't they? Yates. This is Abrahamsen. We know him well, don't we, this tour? And Nielsen Paulus from the United States, flying the flag for EF Education Easy Pros. So, with the situation as
how can both my heart rate monitors be messing up at the same time?
The leader of the race, who is speaking us right at the start.
Had a possible crosswind out there. How are you guys looking at this stage? What have you been talking about in the bus?
Yeah, it's can be crosswinds, but we'll see. It's for sure a lot of stress, and for sure me as a yellow jersey need to be in front, and then maybe don't split.
Good one today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.
Maybe it doesn't split. Well, it did split, and his teammate was in the right place, and then Pogačar followed that move beautifully. Did exactly what he needed to do in there. Had a teammate. He has lost a teammate, though, today. Juan Ayuso has abandoned the race after reports surfaced in the Spanish press overnight that he had tested positive for COVID. Joao Almeida still up there in the top 10. Adam Yates in 8th position before Roglic didn't start, so he's now in 7th. So a lot of riders already moving 2 up today before the start even occurred.
Yeah, improving your general classification just by starting the day is, for those riders, a bonus, but not the way they would have wanted to do it, because everybody, you know, they've been in that situation at one stage or another in races where they've had to abandon due to either illness or injury, and you don't want to see anyone go out like that. However, with the abandonment, just looking at the UAE team, with the abandonment of Juan Ayuso, if you were going to lose anybody of your climbing lieutenants, then I'd suggest that the loss of Ayuso to Tadej Pogacar is probably the best possible scenario, compared to losing a Yates or an Almeida for the amount of experience they've got and the way they've been working in this race so far. And we sort of look at the early few days of Juan Ayuso riding like he's... And he's correct, those other teams have to ride. So just going to say that Ayuso would, you know, look to be riding quite a lot for his own chances, keeping something in reserve where the others have really sort of laid it on the line, even though they're high up on GC.
Yeah, potentially. I think my biggest worry here now is that illness spreading throughout the camp. Who's been rooming with Ayuso? You know, we saw for Bahrain with Fred Wright and then Pello Bilbao how quickly it can spread through the camp, because these riders are so depleted, their immune systems are suppressed. And that's a big worry for me. We just heard from Arkea B&B there, and these director sportifs now with these riders in the group behind, they're just trying to offer up as much motivation to their riders as possible. You know, there's so many teams here behind that have missed it, they're not happy with Adam Yates up ahead. So just trying to keep that momentum in that group behind. And
you hear also, where we heard you earlier, Rob, speaking with Adam about the possibility of if sprint teams just offered up one rider into the chase, they could shut this thing down. But we hear other teams saying, nope, it's the responsibility of Ineos and Soudal to do the chasing, so we're going to sit back, we're going to gamble on that, save our resources. And it happens so much at sort of this stage of the race, halfway through a Grand Tour, energy conservation, trying to keep all your lead out guys or guys for later on. If you offer them up this early in the stage, 110k to go, there's more crosswinds down the road. Happen all over again. I was just going to say, I was wondering if, you know, we get later down the line, the gap opens up slightly more, whether we will see that, you know, that offering up of one of the riders from those sprint teams, because ultimately, if they don't, it could be a wasted opportunity. Well, what if you empty yourself in the chase? You do chase down the break that's up the road now, all comes back together, you've exhausted yourself, next crosswind section splits again, you're out the back, and voila, out of the time limit, your race is over. Well, yeah, but that is the gamble. So they just say, sit back for now, long way to go. It's only 51 seconds, so they don't need to just yet.
There's quite a few sprint teams you have riders in the breakaway, though.
That too.
Quite a few. And in fact, there are 2 sprinters themselves in the breakaway, in Vandenberg and De Lee. They are certainly not going to work. And again, like I said before, just imagine going to dinner tonight, the one stage that you might have had an opportunity in a great breakaway, and you've been chased down. You've got to sit down. You're not going to be popular.
You're not going to be popular. And also the intent from Alpecin to Koenig now, they're clearly happy with having Mathieu van der Poel up here rather than Philipsen. So it's going to be a tough day for them behind.
Rob and Danny, I think now, seeing this time gap, it's gone under a minute. It was down around 51 seconds. This will be the point at which riders in this break will start to, at the very least, look at Adam Yates as if to say, it's time now, off you trot.
But again, you know, there'll be people sitting at home who aren't very well versed in cycling politics or tactics and say, hang on a minute, why should he do that? Why should he? You know, he's every much right to be there as everybody else.
And it's a reasonable question, and I know you know the answer, Rob. The thing is, with Adam Yates, you know, highly placed on GC, started the day at 7th. The reason for the chase behind is because Adam Yates is in there. Nobody else is a threat on general classification. He's at 6 minutes 59. The rest of the group, the next best is at 33 minutes. Julien Bernard. That is absolutely zero threat to anybody. So the chase behind is being led by GC teams because their positions are being threatened by Adam Yates. if he wasn't there, the break would get the freedom, it'd go up the road, and those ones in the break will be fighting out the stage victory. So they need to get rid of Adam Yates. It's still hanging in the balance a little bit, but at a certain point, I wonder if even his team may tell him to sit up, because the other thing you don't want to do is make enemies in the peloton with a number of teams.
But I mean, there's a few teams who made enemies anyway. Visma Leasebike mustn't have been very popular when they did what they did then, instead of working together with all the other teams. I'm just going to come in as well, because you talked about the gap coming down. There are now 5 teams committed to working at the front. They are JK Lula, Ineos Grenadiers with at least 2 riders, including Geraint Thomas, Decathlon AG Desert, Cofidis, and Arkea BMB.
So out of the teams that are riding, there's potentially 4 that will continue to ride. So if Ineos could stop, if Adam Yates sat up, Ineos could say, that'll do us. We're happy with that. We've got Kwiatkowski in the break. Let him do his thing. And there's no threat to Carlos Rodriguez' GC position from Yates. They could pull the pin on the chase. The others, though, they're riding for sprinters. Decathlon were told just before we heard in the radio communication, 3.5 hours of suffering, just go with everything you got. Let's try and get a stage result. Arkea BMB went close initially with Arnaud Dumas yesterday, then relegated, but okay, so what? He went close to crossing the line first. They're just seizing the opportunity for another possible shot at a stage win.
Yeah, and I can't see him sitting up. I mean, it's perfect for them and the team looking forward, looking ahead at this race. It's not just today that they're going to be taken into consideration as to what is this going to take out of the other GC teams. We've got a huge 2 days to come in the mountains, so they're not worried about making enemies, I don't think, in the peloton behind. This isn't in their nature. This isn't the way they race their bikes.
Is that for UAE?
Yes.
Yeah, well, they're not making enemies sort of in the peloton behind. It's sort of the thing of making enemies of the guys who are in the break with you, because you effectively, by keeping Yates there, ruining the chances of everybody else in this break of winning this stage from this break,
Yeah,
because
I don't think they're going to worry about that. You know, they've got bigger fish to fry here, and they're thinking about the yellow jersey.
Yeah, they maybe already made a few enemies in a way the other day, the way they rode in the stage that ended up being won by Jonas Vingegaard. They could have easily let that break go that day, and they chose to chase all day, be really aggressive, shut down everybody else's moves.
My point exactly.
Yeah, but I think this is at the moment, if I was their director, I'd say to Adam Yates, stay there for now, see if the chase blows up. Then it's great. If it got down to 30 seconds, 25 seconds, I'd be on the edge of saying, sit up, go back, and then the break should still be able to go.
Fascinating. The politics of it all, eh? There is Yates, white jersey on, yellow helmet. UAE Emirates still lead the team classification. Tadej Pogacar leads the race. He's now led a Grand Tour for more days than Fausto Coppi did. 51. Of course, 30 Grand Tour leaders jerseys just this season, by the way. If he wants the most in a season ever, he's got 7 more to go. Eddy Merckx did that in 1970. But, of course, there were more stages in the Tour then. He had 23 yellow jerseys just from the Tour de France.
Oh, yeah, stages A and B in certain editions of the Tour on the same day.
Back to the radio in the meantime.
Talk to Remco and tell him that if they put 2 and also the Visma, then we will also put G, okay? G and Castro can work, and then we're 6 working.
And that seems to have happened, because just looking, I've seen a Visma rider now at the front as well, and it looked as though there was a blue and white jersey from Soudal Quickstep not far away. May well have been Yves Lampaert, who did start working initially, and then of course we had those other teams coming in, and again we had what Robbie was just talking about before. Yeah, well, we'll hang on and we'll save, you know, waiting, but no, look at all these guys committed now.
And this is what's so intriguing about cycling. They're joining forces, they're making alliances between themselves now, in the best interest of both the teams who want this to come back.
That's 7 teams working, by the way, now.
And still holding at 52 seconds at the moment. That's why Adam Yates needs to stay there for now.
Just shows the strength of the breakaway.
Yep, strength of the break, and then potentially an eventual weakness of the chase, that they're unable with that many riders to make a big impression, and it may yet blow up as they, you know, 12 days deep. Well, 13 now. But we're 12 full stages behind the riders already. Fatigue is a huge element of what riders are capable of at this point in the race, and this chase could yet fizzle out. Just taking a few seconds back, but just back to that politics within the race and creating enemies and what could happen. You look at yesterday, there was a crash early on that Tadej Pogačar was caught up in. Yellow jersey caught behind. There were 4 riders off the front. There's still lots of counter-attacking going on until that crash happened. Held up the yellow jersey, so all the counter-attack stopped. Then the 4 move clear, bunch shuts down. He safely makes his way back to the peloton. If you then, after today, make enemies, there's riders and teams who are annoyed at you for keeping Adam Yates in there until your breakaway gets shut down. Go forward another day or two. You have a similar situation possibly to yesterday. Pogačar gets held up by something. There may be riders that say, you know what? I'm not going to stop trying to get in the break. I'm not going to shut down the bunch and let him easily come back. If it's a crosswind stage around Nim, for example, so what, yellow jersey? You annoyed me the other day. You shut down our break by doing what you did. So we're just going to keep going. See you later.
I think this is a different situation to me, though. That's almost the respect to the yellow jersey in a crash versus, you know, what's happening out on the road, and having a rider that was capable, was there at the right time to get themselves in the break.
Yeah, but don't underestimate the irritation of guys who have their chance of the stage win ruined.
This has been in the playground.
But it is that. It really is.
Into Occitanie. We've been weaving our way between Nouvelle-Aquitaine and Occitanie, right on the border. 45 seconds, and the introduction of different riders riding has really brought it back. Geraint Thomas having a word with those other riders, as we heard. That's Bart Lemon, Bruno Amirai, Crucio Jensen, Geraint Thomas we mentioned, Jonathan Castroviejo. They're not just any riders as well. They're some of the strongest riders in the whole pro peloton who are working hard to bring back a group that, yes, was massively committed at the front. Yes, he's still riding here, but you feel you're starting to get to that moment where not everybody is as full out as they were. Everybody's starting to think about what ifs. We've heard the politics and the playground arguments between Robbie and Danny, and they're all valid arguments.
I was looking back in the bunch, keeping an eye on where Adam Yates is riding within the group, and seeing the riders coming back as they go through and off, seeing if anyone is going to pay him any attention. And I was just thinking, I reckon I know who's going to be the first one to say something. Rui Costa turned to Adam Yates and just said something to him, because Yates' head turned towards Costa as he was spoken to. So it's starting.
Well, let's just say that Senor Costa has quite the reputation. So I'm not sure how well that would go down with most of the riders. Never mind there, Adam Yates.
Well, Rui Costa's normally the guy who, to put it very kindly, in a breakaway, he's doing only as much as the guy doing the least.
Hey, I mean, from my side, that is not a criticism. I'm just telling you how he's perceived by other riders. I think he's an absolute Rolls Royce of a bike rider. He's won so many races, 3 tour stages, world championships, and he's still winning late into his 30s. I think he's an absolute superb bike rider. But you speak to people in the peloton, and there's generally an eye roll.
Yeah, he's a very good bike rider, but he is ruthless. He's not here to take prisoners. He's here to try and win bike races, and he doesn't care if his style annoys others and they don't feel he's contributing as much as they are. He says, that's fine by me. I'm here to win bike races and then retire and sit back in Portugal and enjoy the fruits of my labour. So get on with your own race. But yes, it does make others roll their eyes when you talk about Rui Costa.
He's a great bike rider. And he's great for us. He's great entertainment for one of those, because he's different, isn't he? And the way he goes about it is different. He's being chased down, though, like the other 21 are. And the gap continues to come down here, Danny.
Yeah, and I just saw
3 seconds.
Saw Geraint Thomas talking into his radio there, and it looked like Thomas Pidcock was just moving up ever so slightly. So I'm wondering if that's going to offer up another rider in this chase now, because we are getting closer to another exposed section. at 89 kilometers to go. So they are going to want to close this as soon as possible.
Welcome back, everybody. We are more than 5 minutes ahead of the fastest predicted schedule, based on 47 kilometers per hour. It's a rip-roaring start to this tour stage. It rolls on, they chase on, and for the next little while, I'm going to hand you over to Carlton Kirby.
Thank you, Rob. Absolutely breathless. We've said that time and time again during this Tour de France. I think there's only been one day where, after a big climbing day at Point-Marie, we had a little bit of quiet, perhaps at the top. And maybe the day, of course, after Galibier as well, where finally today, well, we got ourselves a breakaway established. It's an enormous one of 21 riders, but the quality within it is absolutely outstanding. And because of that, there's a problem. It includes Adam Yates. They're trying to bully him out of the break. He's going absolutely nowhere for the time being. And those who are chasing on into the gap have got their work cut out. They finally established an accord. There are 7 teams that have got together and decided that it may well be worthwhile just charging into this gap. One of those teams is Jayco Alula. Now, they were the first to really start off in pursuit of this amazing super group. Well, the travelling Wilburys at the moment have got an advantage of around 45 seconds. But Jayco, Decathlon, Bora, Soudal, Cofidis, Intermarché, Arkea, they missed it. Here's Jayco.
You have been second there before in the Tour. It looks interesting, the parcours, a bit hilly in the final, but also possible crosswinds out there. What are you guys thinking about today's stage?
I think also what the other team's thinking. Can be windy, can be break, but on the end can be also a sprint. The thing is that Alpecin lose now 2 guys. Yeah, they also a crash, so yeah, you need to see how much control there is, and yeah, that's not always in our hands.
How are you doing? You said it was a tough stage yesterday, Dylan. How are the legs?
Yeah, it was really hot yesterday, but also in the end was a lot of climbing. Small climbing, but yeah, in the end was more than 2,000 altitude meters. So for a sprinter, that's a lot, and I could feel it in my legs in the end. But yeah, we hopefully we can put me in good position today.
Finally, are we going to see the Batman glasses in the final?
I think I will put it on today. It's I think it will stay dry. So yesterday was a bit rainy in the start. So yeah, today it's the day again.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Groenewegen missed it. His team did as well. Too much lingering towards the back, including Michael Matthews at the top of the day. With 99 kilometers to go, somebody will be ordering an ice cream before you know it. But it is cooler today, around about 23, 24 Celsius. But there is a wind blowing up. And we've got a direction change coming up as well as we come through Courzoban. We are going to be heading due south until we get to our intermediate sprint. Wind has been a massive factor and may well get magnified, Danny.
Yeah, like you said, Carlton, 89 kilometres to go. There'll be a change in direction. It's not for long. It's only around 4 kilometres. But the critical one for me is at 59.5 kilometres to go, where there's a 10-kilometre section of cross tailwind, which is the most conducive wind direction to cause absolute chaos in the peloton or any group, and even more so critical because this is just before these climbs come. Today is hugely back-ended compared to the sprint that we had yesterday. Another opportunity or an opportunist day to use those climbs in the final, and then a fast run into Po. So it was interesting to hear from Groenewegen there and the team of Jayco Alula, who have also been one of the teams working behind. So I don't think it's not just the GC teams behind in the peloton who are worried about this. There's also these 3 sprint teams in Jayco Alula, Cofidis and Arkea B&B who also want this to come back for their opportunities today.
They've got to, Robbie.
Oh,
They've got to work.
They've got to. I mean, the Tour de France only has 21 stages, and when you've earmarked a particular stage, you've got to go out and get it. No one's going to hand it to you. So I understand that the sprint team's chasing behind even this far to go because it's such a high-powered break. It's going to take a lot of chasing.
There are so many different kinds of riders who've won into Po in the past. Climbers, rouleurs, sprinters, even time trialists, of course. In 2019, Julien Alaphilippe was the man who held on to yellow while Geraint Thomas was breathing down his neck. Today, Well, we're getting over towards the Pyrenees, which means it's moderated the temperatures just a little bit, but the racing has been absolutely white hot. Just hovering in on Steve Williams at the moment and looking at his rolling pace of 55 kilometres per hour. Today has been quick. The average is about 48.5 so far, and this is in a calmer section that we are dealing with. It's been anything but so far today. 7 teams chasing, 50 seconds the gap right now, but there's too much firepower up the road, Danny, for this to go easily. This gap is going to be hard to eat into. It's going to need a cohesive battle by those behind if they're going to close it. At least now more teams who've missed the break are involved.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see the firepower in this breakaway or this front group of riders, and it is going to be tough behind, and it's going to be a case of teams having to offer up more riders in that chase as we get closer and closer to the finish. Robbie said about some of the teams just kind of risking to in their pursuit to win today's stage, but ultimately this gap is being held by these front group of riders. So I think there's going to come a time where they simply have to offer up more help in the pursuit of closing this gap down.
Robbie, the Visma move that tried to, I think, possibly catch out Evenepoel, not quite sure, but Pogacar joined it. Evenepoel was late to the party but got there. Was there any sense in them pushing on? Was there anyone left behind that they would have liked to have dealt with? It seemed like almost a hiding to nothing at one point.
Well, Carlton, as that happens,
Oh,
Robbie's
so beg your
exited and I'm in, and
Hello, Adam.
Magnus Cort is on the attack. Julian Bernard just behind him, Kwiato following him, but this is the danger within this group, and this is one of the big reasons why they'd start to come back right now, is the faffing around, the playing that they'll start to do. Rather than work together, this would be advantage peloton, but Magnus Cort, we've seen him in this situation before. He's done well out of this situation before when he's been in a group, attacked it, taken advantage of it, because this would be perfect now for a lot of teams. Adam Yates moving to the side of the road, as Danny's pointing out. That group just needs to stay cohesive between them.
I'm quite surprised this is happening so early on, with still 95.3 kilometres to go as well, and with the exposed section still to come. To me, their best option or their best chances of making it to the line would be to, like Adam said, work cohesively together, share that workload, not disrupt the momentum and the cohesion of this group.
Would you want to come to the line with Mathieu van der Poel and all them?
I wouldn't, but still with 95 kilometres to go and the climbs that we've got in the back end in that last 50 kilometres, there's other opportunities to do it later on.
Is Kwiatkowski, I mean, him being here, he clearly wasn't the battle plan, because Ineos Grenadiers were busy trying to work on that gap as well at one point, Adam.
They were, yeah, and you know, they've every right to be with Adam Yates there, but at the same time they've great opportunity to win the stage. Kwiato is a master tactician. He's very, very clever, very, very good at it, and if he's in this little move here, he's done it for a reason. You know, these guys will commit together, they'll work together, they'll ride hard together, and Kwiato in there, he'll rally those 3 riders with him to be able to do that, you know, really push them on, egg them on a little bit, and by doing this they've got rid of trying to worry about the other riders' tactics in the background, because there's so many riders behind still that they'll be looking at each other to, you do that work, I'll do this work. And one of the main things in that group is Vandenberg from EF. He's a very, very fast sprinter, super fast. He's got 2 teammates with Nielsen in there and Rui Costa as well. So I think just getting ahead of those guys and taking that threat of a super fast guy out of it, it's a good plan to have.
It's almost a stare down at the moment, Danny, isn't it? With only 10 seconds between them. Sorry to just interrupt you there. 9 seconds. At least this is the first skirmish, I think, within this group, if this doesn't stick. But who's going to pick it up, Danny and Bridge, here?
Yeah, you could say that for Jonas Abrahamsson, he's looking to take more points on those on the climbs later on in the stage. But I was just going to mention, you know, it's always so important to have a rider like Kwiatkowski in a move like this, that captain role. He is the captain of the Ineos team. He knows how to win bike races, but you generally find that it is the rider with the most experience and knows how to get the most out of the group that they're in.
Magnus Cort just starting the move. Here it is from this break. No cohesion in the chase, but the 4 have managed to separate themselves. A modest margin at the moment, Adam, of 11 seconds. It's stickable though, isn't it, with the quality we've got up here?
It is, yeah. It's just interesting that Magnus Cort's gone on the attack with the points on offer available for Abrahamsson a little bit later on. Yes, they're not many points at all. They're not going to make too much of a a dent into these in his points competition for the King of the Mountains jersey, but there's no real rider that is going to just start to bring it back. It needs to be every single one of them. It needs to be all of them. And look, now you can see there's attacks going from this group, and the more they start to do this, is the harder it's going to be to bridge across them. Paulus just not having that look over his shoulder by the looks of things. Probably wrong, but yeah, it's going to get interesting within this group.
The sun is out, the wind is up, as we know, and we are now riding down some narrower country lanes. There's a big left-hander that I've just gone by about 2 or 3 kilometers ago. Because the gap is so narrow between the break and the peloton, we're now right in front of the race. We're moving on to some much narrower lanes. We've been on pretty main roads for the vast majority of the day, and these aren't super narrow, but they are significantly narrower than we saw before. Twisting and turning as well. A big drop off either side. There's a drainage ditch to the right and indeed to the left. Not quite as much margin for error, and a bit of a grippier surface.
Speedy, what up?
As well. We've now picked
How's
up
it going?
Chopper, which is slang for a tailwind, and we know what a tailwind equals: fun and frolics. Back to the commentators.
Thank you, Matt, and a whole load of pace, Danny, as well.
It is a whole lot of pace, and you can see, and I was going to say the onus would be on EM.
Another day over here, zone 2-ing.
3 riders, the most riders in this front group, but Nelson Paulus was one of those riders to come down in that crash yesterday, and he's starting today's stage with a fractured wrist, I believe it is. So that is why he is struggling at this point.
Just Brent Van Moor is that's trying to close this down to give Arnaud Delis just a chance.
Oh, we already got it working.
Some more protection. Having a teammate.
Awesome. What was the problem?
When you're in this kind of situation, Adam, you can you have your protected rider like Arnaud Delis, most certainly, but Brent Van Moor is doing a mighty job at the moment. Might see him just pop into position. He's got some help as well. Others are interested now. 15 seconds though. This is the way that the big break actually formed. We had a holding pattern, didn't we, of around between 27 and 35 seconds for
cadence.
In a certain sense, with those gaps, it's almost like a slow motion bicycle race. The gaps are modest, even back to the peloton. It's still only a minute.
What kind of trainer are you using?
On the contrary about the teammate though, Carlton, it is difficult to have a teammate within this group. Soon as you have one teammate within this group, you're looked upon.
Oh, a different way, okay.
Upon to do that work. You're, you know, the other
well, if it works, it works.
In there. Get one of your riders to chase. Get one of your riders to do that. All of them are trying hard. All of them are on the limit. So it's not about looking at them. And look, you've got Rui Costa and Vandenberg in second towards the back, and then his teammate right
Stages, SP2. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's great to have a teammate in terms of bottles, feeding, sharing the workload, but in this situation, every other person is going to look to you. Well, you've got 2 teammates
it's
in
exactly
this group.
what I was
Start to
saying.
You got a squeak.
The onus is on you then to do the majority of the work.
You got a
I think
squeak.
at this stage, the reason why we've got this group that's
Well, I'm happy it works.
front group is that they're trying to form a new group without Adam Yates to have more of an opportunity of going all the way to the line.
It's beautiful roller coaster.
High speed and low speed connection. Okay.
It's
Interesting.
I know we're on a little downhill section here, but goodness me, they've taken the bit between the teeth. Magnus Court started this move. Romain Gregoire, Julien Bernard.
I'm lucky I've had no problems because this bike has its own little tablet, so everything just broadcasts and connects through that. So using their app, it's been actually pretty good.
27 seconds. It's expanded down.
Their Mywhoosh Link app, that's been
and like you said, Carlton,
it's like the Zwift's companion app,
as to the composition of the group,
which I'm sure you're using. It's good.
GC,
Well, it works.
Strengths and weaknesses, although these riders will know each other very well, having raced with each other for years and years, but that information will be relayed from the director sportif as well. With extra
3-second
information on the
delay.
road as
Oh,
to
okay.
what's coming up ahead, if there's any weather changes that are going to occur, you know, where the feeds are, where they're.
Oh, you're not using the app? Yeah, use the app.
And the like. So
Look
all
up
of that
Mywhoosh
information is
Link.
critical. Just going back here to the back of
It's just like the companion
peloton.
app.
A couple of riders at the medical car, it looks like to me.
And I've had no problems with it really.
Certainly is. It's the only car you're allowed to hold on indefinitely while you're being treated.
You have to connect everything through the app, then go into your Bluetooth connection in game,
rider.
And then just resume your ride, and it should hook up after
I'm
that.
afraid the race, we've heard many a rider indeed have been affected by it, and we've seen it with our own eyes as well. Some self-declared.
Oh, good.
Others, well, teams being very, very cagey about it. Visma Lisa Bike turning up today for signing with masks on, Adam.
Make sure nothing else is connected to all that stuff. Otherwise, it'll bug it out. But it should work. Just as good, hopefully.
Sickness has always happened within the Tour de France, but it just seems with the stages that we've had and the hard racing that they had, that their immune systems are pushed.
They don't really advertise the app too much, I feel like.
In each and every day.
But they just updated it, so.
Sorry, with a mechanical problem. Looks like he's changing his bike, taking his bike computer off, bottles off, waiting for his team car to come along.
88 kilometres to go. Just under half a minute from our now fractured breakaway.
I got a squeak.
By the way, for Bahrain victorious, one of those up the road. Tom Squinch.
Gotta be sweat on something.
Julian Bernard, his teammate, has gone off up the road. Adam Yates remains within the chase group just for now, and the peloton at 1 minute and 21. Gosh, it's still very.
The Mywhoosh app itself is the game, but the Mywhoosh link is what connects, like PC. Yeah, you want the link.
For his recipe, I don't think anyway. Maybe why I just popped out a few moments ago. Great wine country as well down here. We're heading today to Madiran, by the way, which is the southernmost red, I believe, in France. Rather dismissively referred to as Spanish wine within France. But, yes, I rather like it.
The app itself is not as good as Companion, like design-wise, but it works.
We are looking at an average pace of nudging up to 48 kilometers per hour.
You can still do a decent amount, so you can still look around for rides and events. It's just not as polished as Zwift's is.
To keep the pace, changing. It's hard to get comfortable on a day like today in so many different ways. What was that, Adam? It was a turning upside down of a bottle.
Rodriguez was giving the bottle back. Can't drop litter, so it's fair enough. I was just having a little giggle. Normally see it the other way.
Yeah, there we are. Done with that one. Temperature moderated today, but the racing's been absolutely white hot. It's been wonderful. We're just heading around the peloton. Sean Kelly's back with a smile on his face and some breadsticks. We'll be tucking into those a little bit later on. If you hear some gnawing in the background, that's what that is. Keep your fluids where they need to be, Danny.
Oh, we're already at it. Good. Yeah, give it a twirl. See if it works. If it connects any easier.
It is very pleasant.
Like I said, just make sure everything is disconnected off your old, whatever you're using before.
Fuel in your body. So, yeah, critical that these riders are taking on sustenance and hydration from their bottles throughout every single stage, despite how hot it is out there.
Dare we go to John for a brief one before the intermediate
squeak, squeak,
so many
squeak.
Vines, John. I imagine you've been chomping at the bit.
This is a new squeak.
Have a word.
I have. I mean, today's recipe, I have actually included the fact that if people would so wish,
it's rotational.
You being one of those people, you could enjoy it with a glass
And
of
it seems like it's coming off my right leg.
Because I know over the years that we've bashed heads about this particular wine. I personally prefer some of the white wines that come from this region. You can get some really outstanding white wines. The Clos de Gascon being one in particular, but you also get lovely Armagnac. A lot of Armagnac grown around, the grapes for Armagnac grown around here. Although I have always been told that to be a proper Frenchman, you drink cognac, and Armagnac's just for tourists. I don't believe that for a second. I think Armagnac's fantastic, but then again, I'm English.
John was once given an extraordinarily expensive bottle of Armagnac, I believe. Was this one you quaffed accidentally, John?
No. I was at that.
I mean, Mywhoosh is getting slowly more popular on Twitch. When I started this, there were 210 followers. Now they're up to 228, so little growth.
While he was away on holiday or something.
I'm mean, it does sound like something I do, but no, that isn't the case.
All right, thank you, thank you, John. Did you mention your recipe today?
I
Briefly?
haven't done the recipe yet today.
Maybe we'll have some space after the intermediate sprint.
Okay,
if it's a long one, just tell us what it is, and then we'll get back to this.
Yeah, it's pomme salades. So they're the potatoes from this region, but they're not salad potatoes as we discussed earlier.
All right.
No. I mean, Zwift is really no better, but nobody really. Nobody cares about Mywhoosh. Even on Kick, there is not even a Mywhoosh category, so I just stream it on Twitch. Or I mean, Zwift.
Yeah, it does look solid, and they're clearly, you know,
But no, it's not popular at all. I mean, people working out. Most of the people that watch Twitch are, well, let's face it, not the healthiest people.
There's still a long way to go, though, but for that peloton behind, it seems that they're just not making huge inroads, are they, to
And to watch a rider, you know, you kind of want high power, racing, high category.
Now with teams starting to throw their minds towards Saint-Lary tomorrow.
It's just just not popular with the big demographic of Twitch. Unless like somebody's favorite streamer starts to work out, which you start seeing like Ms. Kiff and all those kids. But still, everybody who is watching it is just living parasocially, and they don't themselves work out. They just live through those guys and watch the content.
You have to almost feather your input depending on the way the race has been ridden, even up to today. Never mind how it's been.
Nobody wants to watch an average Joe for the most part.
That's what we were talking about earlier, isn't it? For UAE, it's the ideal position to be in.
But I guess it depends on the person.
Behind, they can simply follow versus the GC teams specifically who are having to chase and put teammates.
It's also not easy to like engage with chat and actively work out.
To Adam Yates if it does stay away. So yeah, again, looking ahead, that they're just using.
Nah, why would they? There's.
Behind that they're going to need to use.
You're going to watch somebody spin their legs for 90 minutes.
Well, they're riding like they've got a tailwind at the moment, as Matt Stevens was pointing out.
They'll just scrub through to the popular parts, or just go straight to the end, or unless there's like some commentary and the video is chopped up, edited, nobody's going to sit through the whole workout.
As much as you can after the orders of what we've been doing.
Unless they're like
passing by the Madeira area, which of course John is very dismissive.
like a strong rider.
The furthest, most southerly red wine in France. Little bowls that avoid the kind of heat up and then avoid the frost.
But like it's not easy to engage while you're breathing heavy and trying to keep your heart rate down. So like it's not the easiest.
You'd like that right now?
Go on then.
Yeah, absolutely.
The easiest category to stream in. You can just, you know, just chatting. You can sit on your ass and talk to people. This, I'm, you know, actively trying to breathe in and talk, and it's not very easy.
You want to have 4 large Maris Pipers. That's for my preferred.
And also those better streamers, you know, they're probably really not talking that much.
See where this one's going. Some water,
especially if they're doing a race and something competitive. Any type of talking is a waste of oxygen, really.
With the water over the top of them, just allow them to tenderize over quite a long time with the garlic. Then whack on the
oh, people just want to see high power all the time.
You've got one of those chef circles. Serve them in one of those. Always makes them look that much more attractive. Put a little bit of extra salt on top.
Like
serve it with some chicken and thyme with a nice
people think
to go along with that, and some green beans, and enjoy, as I've said.
People think you're critical about your power. Just start streaming this, and then people will be like, "Oh, baby wattage," because you're not, you know, 300 for an hour.
Along with all of the other recipes on this year's tour.
I understand there's also a spectacular dry, sweet dessert wine in these parts as well, made with...
But I take these and I upload them to YouTube, and
Yeah, I think it's about
I'll go back sometimes and rewatch and see if there's been progress. Or usually I do this for myself, really, at this rate.
It's a particularly excellent brew. It's a good region for wine, and you're obviously moving on to the flanks of Bordeaux as well.
Yeah, heavy weights, heavy power.
Good wine on offer, and Madeira.
Thank you, John.
Everyone gets distracted by the numbers.
Today as well, from absolutely everybody. It's been remarkable. Another very fast day. If you looked at the top of the day, you were thinking, well, with some climbs towards the end of it.
But I mean, if you're not pushing 300 watts for an hour, you know, people are going to be like, nah.
And then just a bit of an amble. It's been anything but, which proves that we kind of have to expect the unexpected in this year's race.
So it is what it is.
And that's been the narrative.
I've been doing this so long to like nobody really watching, so at this rate, like I said, I kind of just do it for myself. Because I'll go back to like my very first ride and I'll see the progression and like how weak I was and see it kind of. It's easier to see or change over time if you have it all categorized out.
But it is more back-ended today versus yesterday's stage, so I think we are going to see a lot more action now in the last 80 kilometers.
Welcome back to
like I said, I just do it for myself at this rate. Yeah, I mean, great. If, you know, people want to watch. But I mean,
was it worth the candle to have that dig?
Absolutely worth the
a lot of this stuff is personal stuff.
They could have had a, you know,
this is stage 13 right now of last year's Tour de France.
That's the number one, and then got themselves across to the break and
kind of use it as a little motivator. I really don't watch this or follow it at all, so I just kind of put this on when I ride. Give me a little motivation.
The main part of that initial break at 55 seconds behind.
And I haven't gotten copywritten flag for it, so I just said, fuck it, I'm just going to put it on the screen.
Seconds ahead of the peloton, so it looks now like it's being shut down.
Because then at least it's not quiet, because there's no in-game noise in Mywhoosh, so it just gives it a little something.
Just cause a big split that doesn't have Adam Yates in it, and then it's game on. But when it's only 4, if the rest of that break gets caught by the
peloton, I'll watch it live this year. Just sometimes they start really early, so I'll catch a race like past halfway.
With only 4 off the front, too easy, got this under control.
I got some achievement. I didn't see what it was.
No, there's nothing easy about the race, but the situation has become really manageable.
But yeah, I mean, it's great watching it live. Just a lot of people don't appreciate the sport really at all.
You say, okay, we're ready to take over. We'll
so it's weird being in the States.
On the contrary, though, I guess never underestimate the break. And these 4 riders are hugely, strong in their own
yeah, I get a lot of people from Europe. I got a guy from Brazil who watches.
It definitely gives them more of an advantage.
Not really anybody from America. A lot of my friends aren't really into this type of stuff. And or taking care of their heart, body. So it's just chug along and do it myself.
Here is the Nogaro Paul Armagnac circuit. A little bit of touring car action going on for you with the big runoffs here. You can tell that this is a motorcycle circuit.
What I gotta do here?
And indeed, a long reach before you get to some of the barriers. The bleu, blanc, et rouge, just on some of the.
Try to lower my heart rate a tad.
Well, that's the circuit we saw last year as a finish, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Crashes as well.
Oh yeah, I mean I can't wait to live longer.
We saw a number of crashes on the approach, but anyway, in the end,
as long as I don't get sick.
One.
Knock on some wood.
On this circuit.
Never know what life will throw at you, but considering heart failure is pretty much the most common way of death.
In that secondary group, so he takes indeed
kind of ahead of the curve.
The most useful points still on offer.
I don't really drink or anything, so smoke a little weed, but no more alcohol. I kicked that a long time ago. It's too hard to ride, and it's just not the thing anymore.
Well, the way way everything's worked out so far on this tour has really gone Biniam Girmay's way, and that's what happens.
This should be
when
what,
you're
like
in superb
230?
form.
You make your own luck, don't you? That's what they've done.
216.
75 kilometers from home.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to living longer, because who knows what everything's going to be like in 15, 20 years. With AI and robots. Hopefully I can afford a robot to take care of me when I get into like my 80s.
Adam Yates, a real thorn in the side of many out there. Adam, sorry, Robbie, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, we're chopping and changing at a fast
Hollywood
pace
course,
today.
nice.
I nipped out for lunch and Adam's gone off to do
They
a
added a
pre-record.
new Japanese Japan route.
I had to inhale my chicken souvlaki.
But you have to be subscribed to the
Back in the game, but don't
season
get serious,
pass
I'm
to
only
get
here for
access
20K
to
or
it.
so. I'll be back out again.
So
and
I
then
didn't get to check
I'm
it out.
coming back in for the finale. It's a real tag team effort.
Got the long stint today, haven't I?
Yeah, you're the only constant.
But I
here
think
now.
my FTP has certainly increased, because I have it set at 240. And I can ride at 240 for a while, so I think we've increased a little bit.
So, are they going to make it?
The pass looks good.
It's only a minute. Do you think this is, as we get lumpier,
Got some cool stuff, I guess.
and then all hell is going to break loose? There's a lot at
Nothing that
stake.
really interests
You
me.
want to get yourself a stage win out of the way, but I imagine an awful lot of tiredness as well factored into the equation, Robbie.
I'm going to say that the quartet in the lead is not going to make it to fight out the stage win. As I said before, if you're back in the bunch and thinking we want to force a bunch sprint, bring everything back together, great, it's only 4. We'll catch this, though, and the caveat is you do need to chase properly. They're 4 really strong riders.
Well, I do a lot of my, well, not a lot. I do all my rides with no fan, so I'm like constantly heat training.
Following that wheel, but this is a breakaway in the throes of death.
So my body is kind of fast track adapted pretty quickly.
All this effort, I'd try and just do something, but this is too late.
Yeah, it is, and I'd have to agree with you, Robbie.
Because I was like a strong C on Swift.
I'd love to see them make it. Of
So,
course we would, but you know, there's only
nothing
2
crazy, but
opportunities left for the sprinters. So my pick as well, if I was going to bet, would be a bunch sprint again today.
yeah, that's why I do it. My body over time has gone from overheating to being able to do efforts and recover without any extra. So when I turn my fan on, I'm usually a little bit stronger,
I mean, great pick.
which is why I sweat a lot. If you can even see it.
Could be number 4 for him.
Well, if anything, it's
But I sweat a good amount.
His 4th stage when it's probably me picking him.
I actually thought that it'd be Bettiol to take from a long distance as part of a breakaway, but there was 3 from the end.
Yeah, it's a good.
How good is that?
It's a
that
good.
we were predicting
It's a
totally
good
different
trick
scenarios each and every
to
day. That is what's been brilliant about this
push
tour.
your body, just to slowly wean the fan off. 5-10 minutes here, and slowly it'll add up, and you'll notice your body will adapt.
We have had a coming together of the peloton, and indeed 16 or thereabouts, probably 14 actually. With
Yeah, well, when you're sitting in your own shit, you definitely sweat a little bit more.
We've got around about a minute on the peloton. We've kind of done the first phase of their job, if indeed it's going to be a bunch sprint at the end of the day. Haven't quite caught those pursuers, which is the Abrahamson group, which has still got a little bit of life on it, and it's Abrahamson himself who wants to bridge over to those climbs that still offer solitary points on 2 occasions. At the moment, he shares that jersey in terms of points with Tadej Pogačar.
But you train your body to sweat, you know.
And he doesn't want to let this one go, Robbie.
No, he wants to. I mean, it's been the story of his tour.
Your body is so used to dumping all its electrolytes out. You gotta train it to
keep going. He just doesn't know the word stop or cease.
do otherwise.
It's not quite close between this group and the peloton with his accelerators or Ballerini go.
Well, I can't talk much.
Abrahamson. And I just noticed in the peloton the chase was really intense. And as they had them in their sights, it was almost closed. There was a definite easing off as Arnaud Delis now makes another acceleration to still riders trying to make that counter-attack, see if they can get away in a new group, maybe go across to the front.
It was all bar done, wasn't it? About 7 seconds before we went to the long shot. I assumed that they'd come together, but it's been stretched just a little bit, as you can see. Well, we've got about 18, 19 seconds now. No panic in the peloton, though, Danny.
No, it looks like Visma now taking control on the front for Wout van Aert.
But that's the problem. No panic in the peloton. No
and it's
intent.
not over till it's over, is it?
Yeah.
You know, until it's closed, it's not a done deal. And you could see that from Jonas Abrahamsson, who you just mentioned, who is wearing the jersey for Tadej Pogacar. They were tied on points, but Pogacar having the upper hand because he scored on higher categorized points. So this is his last chance to take over that jersey.
Yeah, almost done.
His own right for tomorrow's stage, you could argue. And I mean, he's taken every single opportunity as an absolute machine. One of the riders of the tour for me so far.
Whether or not he
I totally forgot I still have my shirt on.
I guess it doesn't matter much when we head into the
No fan with a shirt on.
Then it's going to be all over for Polka Dots and Johansson. But this just shows, though, you don't got them till you got them. The peloton just got complacent and, well, we've caught them when they weren't yet in the wheel.
Amazing, isn't it? The most modest gap I've ever seen that was re-expanded, we mentioned it earlier in this tour, was Tony Martin at about 7 seconds, I think it got down to.
Well, that's over.
Skittled off again. It can happen, but maybe it depends on a cohesive effort.
Thank you.
As well. They're all on the radios at the moment, presumably just ordering what they can from the car. Which
the other day they had me riding that.
It is so modest, and here we go again.
250 for 6 minutes, and then 310
I think he's accepted his fate, presumably.
for 10 minutes, split up like 4 times. So it's like 2.5 minute clips. So this has been a decent, pretty decent plan to kind of focus on.
More open than we've seen over the last 50 kilometres. And that wind is going to play a role again. It's gusts up and over 40 kilometres an hour.
I think the plans on here aren't too bad. So this is the Gran Fondo.
Still a danger of splits occurring.
They like split them into like 1 month segments. So it's like
it's far from done. This by the looks of
a
things.
little different.
Oh dear. I mean, when are they going to take it out of the oven? There indeed is the peloton, and finally it looks like a bit more focus in terms of
well, today is done, so I'll do my eat-in and
Danny just had to step out for a moment.
Sorry, mate.
Carlton, but I'll
try to get as good as a recovery I
can.
can.
Here that sort of got themselves back in the rhythm and realised, we're not.
No, I think somebody. I think they have a trainer who designed them. They just kind of split into like different, like late in the season or early in the season. So there's 2 different segments. Early in the season's more like zone 2, and then they start doing some zone 3 stuff kind of later. And then like Gran Fondo late is more zone 3, zone 4, kind of like maintenance, like at the end of the seasons type of stuff.
Still with Abrahamsson, who had a modest advantage of 6 meters, still thinking, is there still a chance? I think the answer's no. David Ballerini just swings to the side of the road. Abrahamsson now absorbed.
Spoke to AI, okay. Interesting, never heard of it.
Up the road. You just mentioned Davide Ballerini swinging across the road, just across the bow of the riders from Visma Lease bike, which says
this has been a decent challenge. I guess it all depends.
Just is reabsorbed by the peloton, so getting himself to the.
I guess it all depends on where you are in your own fitness. When I did Build Me Up on Zwift, some of the rides were really challenging because I didn't have the zone 5. I didn't have the range to go up there and hold. So like Build Me Up was pretty difficult. Single track Slayer wasn't too bad because I was a little more into riding.
The sprinters and their teams will be feeling they've got things back under control for the moment, but everybody in the peloton knows that the danger is still there of this race splitting in the crosswinds. Then, of course, mixing that with these, albeit small climbs.
Yeah, definitely AI.
Paces on, and
That's interesting.
On exposed roads, the wind is blowing across on the climbs
Might have
themselves.
to check it out.
The top of them,
Look
we
into
can
it.
still see some major splits in this peloton.
Robbie,
because the AI coaches seem to be kind of where a lot of stuff is going.
If you're in the car, what would you be offering
My
up
only-
today in terms of to the sprinters?
My only critique about this plan right now, the Gran Fondo and Mywhoosh, is the rides just aren't long enough. You need to kind of push like 90 minutes
because of exactly what we're seeing on the screen now. The
to like an hour, 2 hours. I mean,
what happened in the early part of the
right
stage.
now they're kind of like
You got Sudal on the left of picture, UAE in the middle,
mostly an hour
Visma,
and then
Lisa
1 2 hour
The
ride.
flags tell the story. It's going to be like this all the way in. It's going to be a fight for the front. And if one team feels like they're in a position where they can rip the race apart, they will do it. They'll just want to be on the front foot. And as a sprinter, and those teams say, just be along with them. Ride at the front that you don't get caught out.
Actually, even the effects mic's picking up the shush of the wind within the trees here. 20 kilometers an hour the wind now.
Alpine Gran Fondo for 6 months. Wow.
20 kilometers
That
per
sounds
hour
fun.
is the wind, but we're hearing gusts possibly just slamming into you of 35 kilometers an hour. They come like punches, Robbie.
Well, when it does gust
I
up,
tell you though, like if you start to kind of heat train a little bit and like keep your fan off at the beginning of your ride, you'll notice like you'll
if the topography
start gaining a lot of
hills in the right position in relation to the course,
like efficiency and endurance
sort of
as you
30 or
go.
35 k an hour gust can suddenly turn
I try to
into
tell everybody
a
just to
50
kind of
kilometre an hour gust of wind as
start
it gets
doing it, but take it
funneled through.
easy.
That is
Drink a lot
easily
of
enough to
water.
split a peloton. After that, if it even goes back to 30 k an hour, 25
But pretty
k an hour,
much it's the
damage is
same
done.
as
You've
like
still got
altitude
enough
training.
crosswind
Heat
breeze.
training and altitude
We
training
are
pretty much do the
on,
same exact thing.
and it could cause absolute havoc in the peloton. And
One
at
is
some
just less
stage, it's not
oxygen.
even aero bottles
One
can
is
save you if you're in
another
the
is
wrong
just a higher
position.
heart rate,
And that's what the teams are anticipating.
but your body's
here,
still
because it
doing
is
the
that
same
left
thing,
turn that's coming in only
which is, you know,
6 kilometers time now, and that's what
how
we're
thick your
seeing at
blood
the front,
is, the
that
blood plasma.
anticipation, the lead outs of especially the GC teams who are very, very nervous, and naturally that is going to cause an increase in speed into the peloton, but it could change things because the riders
Overheat
down there
fast.
are
Oh yeah,
because they are spooked.
I remember
As
those
Robbie
days.
said, because of what happened straight away on today's stage, that actually could mean it's more neutralised and we don't see as many splits occurring.
20k until the first hill of the finale. Comes at 46 kilometres to go.
I used to. I get a lot of comments about it saying, "Well, what are you back in the '80s?" I'm like, I don't know, man.
Again, there's that opportunity to gain time.
It's worked.
I'm very sorry for Abramson, actually. I think he thought
I'm done.
he'd have almost a wave through from the breakaway if it went all the way.
If the fan is cold for me,
I'll be able to hide
I don't
myself
like
within and then just
cold
nip out,
air being
get away
blown
from
on me
what
when
I'm
I'm
saying. Do you mind if I just go to the front?
stationary. I'll get kind of like shivers, and then I'm not focusing. So I just learned to like turn it off.
64.9 kilometers remaining.
Yeah, thanks for watching, man.
Sean Kelly has just rejoined us.
And distracted me.
Robbie, I understand we'll be seeing you a little bit later on.
See you tomorrow. I'll be on, so I don't know. Maybe I'll see you then. If not, good luck with your rides. Hopefully that link app works well for you. Let me know.
Yes, I have. All ready to rock here into the final. I'm ready for this big one, and what a big day it's been, and it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, Sean's had a salad, but how he fits it all on the plate, I do not know. I mean, it looks like a 1,000-calorie salad to be honest.
5 minutes at 2:36. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty.
Well, you know what they say about the Tour
Kind
de
of
France,
comparable.
It's not just the pedaling; it's an eating and sleeping race.
20 minutes,
so I'll go off.
192, 211. We're getting there.
Might go for a snooze, and I'm going to see you back at 40 kilometres.
See you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get some food in me, and we'll check you out another day.
Welcome back, everybody. All calm across the road at the moment.
Yeah, give it a go, man. Let me know how it works. Hopefully, it's better than what you were even doing.
More or less neutralised for now. We'll there be another attempt.
Oh, actually, let's take a look at what we got.
For now, though, it's time for us to be rejoined by Rob Hatch.
So I got 219 battle pass. So what do we got here? So 400, I get to unlock this. 28. Wow, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, these are pretty stupid. I think the problem in Mywhoosh right now is that like they're trying to be too serious. They should try to make some fun stuff. Something a little bit more kind of not 100% cycle-ish, but like just something more fun. This is a game, so like I don't know, don't be scared to add some fun stuff to it, like a funny hat or something, you know. I got these goggles down here, but like whatever. It's free. I'm not gonna complain.
Bike at the front of this long line now in pursuit of
See you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace. See you tomorrow. Oh, I didn't even look what I got tomorrow.
With the perfect wind direction to cause
I think I have 2 rides tomorrow. So
yesterday turned 27. Now he has a huge
we'll see. All right.
to do.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
On to the road. Here's Matt Stevens. Hold on, Matt. It's getting windy.
Right, I'm just